It's been over 600 days since Zenless Zero was released, and with its release are over 50 unique agents, each with their own special abilities and kits. With this, you may be wondering which characters have stayed relevant, what has changed for them, and why they're so strong, and so today I'll be breaking down the 5 most impactful agents for Zenless in 2026. Before we go further, however, a quick set of disclaimers, as there are a few things to consider before making a list like this. First, Void Hunter level characters such as Miyabi, Ye Guang, and Yixuan will be excluded. This should go without saying, but each of these characters are very clearly strong, and should you have access to them, yes, they are incredibly powerful, and I would recommend them investment-wise for 2026. That said, this video wouldn't make much sense if I simply just took the most recently released characters and put them on a list, so I tried to avoid using the newest characters as well, as they haven't had too much time to settle to really see how strong they'll be long term. This means I didn't include Dylan or the Angels of Delusion, as recent content is very obviously skewed towards them performing well, and that's not incredibly helpful for an investment guide. Finally, there are 2 last but still incredibly important factors to consider as well. First, Zenless does create content specifically designed to showcase and favor new characters, and second, though the characters I will be describing are quite strong, version 3.0 is right around the corner, and there's no telling what we'll see in that version, so take the strength of these characters and this list with care, as things could change, and it's entirely valid to just wait and see what happens in version 3.0. And now, a word from today's sponsor. Wait, what's that over there in...
Oh, dude, no. They're waiting for my permission. No, it's okay. You can use the sky stones. Okay, hear me out. What if we run?
All right. Go ahead. All right, Connor, go ahead and try to make a 260 turn. If you can't make one, I'm timing out glass.
Oh my god.
No, this isn't a dream. I am actually back to talk to you about Epic 7 in 2026. If you're new to the channel, you might not know this, but I used to cover Epic 7 deeply, and I lost lots of hair trying to roll for speed in order to cleave. To add to this, I spent days, weeks, but more likely years trying to get every character, figure out if they could one-shot the enemy, and yes, it was draining for both my Sky Stones and my brain. However, in Epic 7's recent update, we're getting back that hair. If you're a new, returning, or even veteran player playing Epic 7 in 2026, there are an insane number of new systems and quality of life changes being added with the new era of Epic 7. In it, for instance, we're being introduced to the new Milestone of Radiance, a way for you to get insane rewards like a 5-star hero and artifact ticket, Mulagora, and even 10 Moonlight 5-star heroes to choose from if you're a new player. No, you didn't hear that wrong either, 10 of which you can choose from, with 3 options being highlighted and offered to you each time you perform one of the 3x10 pulls. Now, if you're not a new player, worry not, since veteran players will also receive glory coins, which you can use to purchase valuable items from the shop, including a 5-star Moonlight selector, so that you don't have to deal with dupes of ML5s that you already have. But on top of this, episode 6 of Epic 7 is finally releasing a day before my birthday on April 22nd, and with this launch comes Salome, a copycat type hero who genuinely looks to be insane and game-changing. So be sure to use my link to download, revisit, or start Epic 7 today, and thanks again to Smilegate for sponsoring today's video. The first character I'd like to highlight is Nicole, the A-rank Ether support. She provides a massive 40% defense shred to the entire squad, which is extremely powerful for a free A-rank unit. At Mindscape 6, she also increases her value by granting a 15% crit rate boost to teammates, and on top of this, building her is also pretty easy as she has several sets and W engine options. Nicole also happens to excel at grouping enemies together with her EX special, making her very versatile. However, Nicole does also have a few limitations. Her defense shred uptime is pretty short, meaning that you'll have to learn to manage, reapply, and time her debuff/buff timings carefully, and to add to this, since Rupture agents penetrate defense already, she doesn't synergize super well with them. For her build, her signature W engine or Kaboom the Cannon is her best choice. Pair this with a 4-piece Moonlight Lullaby or Astro Voice set, along with a 2-piece option like Phaethon's Melody, Swing Jazz, or Freedom Blues, and for the main stats, you'll prioritize Anomaly Proficiency or Attack for her 4th slot, Ether Damage bonus in her 5th slot, and Energy Regen for her 6th slot. In terms of team compositions, a quick reminder that Zenless is a game where mix and matching support/teams will sometimes lead to higher total account scores as opposed to just using the same 3 characters over and over, but with this, Nicole performs best in lineups like Ye Guang, Zhao and Nicole, Miyabi, Vivian and Nicole, or most famously in the Evelyn, Nicole and Astra team, where she's often used together with Astra Astra to great success. The second agent I'd like to highlight is Lycaon, an ice stunner who has consistently proven himself to be a highly versatile option. With buffs received in recent patches, his value has only increased, and Lycaon does provide several strong debuffs, including increasing the enemy's stun damage multi by 35%, reducing an enemy's ice res by 25%, and increasing other attribute damage by 30%. To add to this, he's also recently received a potential system buff and is also a standard agent, meaning he is relatively easy to obtain and has a wide range of build and W engine options. However, he does have weaknesses, of course. Though Lycaon could work with other agents like Arya, Lycaon is strongest when used in ice teams, which reduces his flexibility compared to more universal supports, and additionally, though he was given a decent buff with his potential system, it's not nearly as insane as other characters who have received one. For his build though, strong W engine options include Hellfire Gears or Steam Oven, and you'll pair this with a 4-piece King in the Summit or Astral Voice if you can maintain its uptime. Alongside this though is a 2-piece option like Shockstar Disco or Moonlight Lullaby, but for main stats you'll prioritize crit rate in the 4th slot, ice damage bonus in the 5th slot, and impact or anomaly mastery in the 6th slot. In terms of team compositions though, Lycaon performs best in ice-focused lineups like Hugo, Lycaon and Lighter or Dylan, Miyabi, Lycaon and Sokaku, Ellen, Lycaon and Sokaku or Asuna, or even Yidhari, Lycaon and Lucia. The next agent worth investing in is Zhao, an ice defense agent who is given out for free in version 2.5. She offers great team value, providing a 40% damage bonus once you reach 27,000 HP on her stat screen, along with a flat 1,000 team-wide attack buff. With the release of the Bunny and Wonderland set as well, she now has access to a defense set, and additionally, her ability to grant Ether Veil is useful, as we've seen Deadly Assault buffs that focus on characters who have set effect applied to them. Despite this, Zhao also has some drawbacks. Zhao is quite dependent on her W engine, as it significantly increases both her HP scaling and energy regen, but to add to this, she's also not the optimal choice for every team outside of Yashin Guang teams, which can feel worse if you're looking to invest heavily into a single team who you'll beat all content and bosses with. Additionally, though you'd imagine the new defense set should work perfectly with Zhao, especially with its name, it's unfortunately not a perfect fit, as some bosses don't allow you to defensive assist nearly as much as you'd like to, or it may feel worse for team DPS when you defensive assist in general. For her build options though, her signature W engine Half Sugar Bunny is the best option for her, though original Transmorpher is a solid alternative. Pair this with a 4-piece Bunny in Wonderland or Astral Voice set, alongside a 2-piece Yongquei Tales or Moonlight Lullaby, and for main stats, prioritize HP percent in 4th and 5th slot, and for the 6th slot, you can choose between HP or energy regen, depending on your stats and W engine choice. In terms of teams, Zhao performs best when used alongside lineups like Yashin Guang, Dylan and Zhao, Yashin Guang, Zhao and Suna, Arya, Nongong Yu and Zhao, Miyabi, Lycaon and Zhao, or Yidhari, Zhao and Lucia. The next agent I'd like to highlight is Trigger, an electric stunner who stands out from others in her role. Unlike traditional stunners, she can build stun while entirely off-field through her aftershock attacks, and she also provides a 35% stun damage multiplier even when enemies aren't stunned, offering value even when she's not on an aftershock team. To add to this, she's also very easy to play. Simply perform 4 charged shots, swap out, and let her kit do the rest of the work while off-field. Of course, however, Trigger also has drawbacks. She's quite reliant on her W engine, as it's one of the only stun W engines with crit rate as its main stat, which is pretty relevant as it does help with her crit rate to impact scaling. But to add to this, her additional ability Conditional does also sometimes limit her compatibility with certain anomaly teams, reducing some of her potential flexibility. Admittedly though, there are still teams where you simply just don't have her additional ability active, and reward yourself with a decently strong buffer and stunner. As for her build, her signature W engine Spectral Gaze is highly recommended, with Ice Jade Teapot and Fossilized Cores serving as solid alternatives. For drive discs, Trigger can also run either a 4-piece King of the Summit or Astral Voice set depending on team needs, paired with a 2-piece Shockstar Disco or Woodpecker Electro if you're really desperate. In terms of main stats though, you'll prioritize crit rate in the 4th slot, electric damage bonus or attack percent in the 5th slot, and impact or energy regen in your 6th slot. For team compositions though, Trigger is especially versatile, performing well in basically any lineup that needs stun or is in need of an off-field buffer. With this, teams like Yanagi Trigger and Yuzaha, Seed Trigger and Orphe, Ishwen Trigger and Lucia, or Trigger again as a flex agent in basically any team as a 3rd slot is also pretty decent. For the 5th and final spot though, I kind of lied because this list was kind of tricky. To be clear, I understand that I originally stated that I wanted less new, but rather more veteran or older characters to be included for this list. However, though my first go-to option was Astra Yao, the reality is that all of the Astra Yao level or type characters like Astra for attack agents, Yuzaha for anomaly agents, and Lucia for rupture agents are all incredibly powerful in their own way. And should you have access access to any of these 3 characters, your account will feel much better. As a result, I decided to include any individual of these 3 agents as the final slot, as each character is basically stronger or weaker than the other 2 depending on what Zenless decides to release as endgame bosses / buffs for the week. As a quick summary of what each character does though, Astra Yao and Yuzuha each provide a 1200 attack buff alongside additional damage boosts, and the same goes for Lucia, but instead of attack she grants 900 sheer force. In addition to this, all 3 also offer other damage buffs through their kits or have other ways to make life easier for their preferred DPS partners, making them extremely impactful supports overall. When diving deeper into their utility though, Astra Yao is pretty unique as she provides constant quick assists, healing, and 2 free chain attacks with her ultimate. Yuzuha offers additional anomaly buildup and can choose to improve the buildup of a specific element of her choosing, and meanwhile Lucia has access to Ether Veil, which if you played Zenless lately is incredibly useful. As a side note, it is also worth noting that Astra Yao does basically work with any and all DPS typings, though she's recently had competition for her spot with characters like Zhao or Suna adding similar buffs in attack and crit damage, but also having access to Ether Veil, which Astra lacks. Moving on to their builds, both Astra Yao and Yuzuha have solid and well-performing signature W engines, with Astra's Elegant Vanity and Yuzuha's Metanuki Morphosis. However, Weeping Cradle and Kaboom the Cannon are solid replacement options if you don't have access to them, though it does make building these characters and finding stats sometimes more difficult. For Lucia, her best in slot is Dreamlit Hearth, though Weeping Cradle and Kaboom the Cannon or even the Vault and Unfettered Game Ball can work too. For sets, all 3 can make good use of a 4-piece Moonlight Lullaby or Astral Voice set, but the ideal 2-piece option, however, will differ between each of these characters. Astra Yao can run 2-piece Swing Jazz or Hormone Punk, Yuzuha benefits the most from 2-piece Phaethon's Melody, while Lucia prefers 2-piece Yunquei Tales or Bunny in Wonderland. As for main stats, Astra Yao and Yuzuha both prioritize attack percent in the 4th and 5th slots, where Lucia prefers HP percent in these slots instead. For the 6th slot, Astra Yao can use either attack percent or energy regen, Yuzuha wants Anomaly Mastery, and Lucia should prioritize either HP percent or energy regen. For both Astra Yao and Lucia though, the 6th slot choice ultimately depends on their W engine setup. Team-wise, though this is very open-ended, and most characters will work with Astra, Yuzuha, or Lucia, assuming they fit the attack, anomaly, or rupture category, there are a few standouts, especially at the top end of endgame performances. For Astra, lineups like Evelyn Dialin Astra, Guang Zhao Astra, and Soldier Zero Ambi Trigger Astra are among her best options. For Yuzuha, teams like Arya Yuzuha Suna, Alice Vivian Yuzuha, Alice Jane Yuzuha, and Miyabi Yuzuha Sukaku are also incredibly strong. And finally for Lucia, Yixuan Dialin Lucia, Yadhari Lycaon Lucia, Yixuan Qingyi Lucia, and other variations like this including Ben Yue and more are all very powerful too. Now first, I know this is a much shorter explanation and recommendation video than what I typically create for guides, so if you're curious or want to learn more about these characters and my recommendations for them, feel free to visit their dedicated updated or first time guide videos on my channel. Second, I'd like to mention that though Zenless can be tough at times, players and creators across the world have shown just how accessible and beatable Zenless is at varying levels of investment. So though these are my recommendations ahead of Zenless's 3.0 update, these are exactly just optional recommendations. As a final note, yes, teams do also vary in performance depending on whether you have the character's signature or not, but though Trigger is the main offender of this, she's still very solid as a versatile stun / support agent. That's everything you need to know about the best agents to invest in for 2026, however, and though I could have included more, it didn't feel quite right just throwing any recently powerful agent on the list or just looking up Pridewind and throwing every character from T1 and above into the video. Thanks again for watching though guys, and as usual, I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, good night.